What if the healing you've been searching for has been hiding in the weird? Taking the Weird Out of Woo is a new series that's on a mission to normalize non-traditional therapies and explore healing beyond the mainstream, one episode at a time. Each week, we bring together 3 powerful elements: a skeptic who's open but unsure, an expert who's lived and studied the method, and a real experience that just might change everything. From sound healing to breathwork, energy medicine, and beyond, we're diving into the woo with curiosity, compassion, and a willingness to ask, could this actually help? This isn't just entertainment, it's an invitation to feel, to heal, and to explore what's possible when nothing else has worked. Welcome to Taking the Weird Out of Woo. Let's heal together. I believe every human resonates with music, with vibration, with sound. It makes us feel alive. It can bring our mood up, it can bring our mood down. It can also help us to feel safe, can help us to feel peace. Today we get to be immersed in sound healing through a sound bath, not only a sound bath, but immersed in water so that it can literally help it become 5 times more powerful. You see, our expert is going to even show us how the power of sound has even helped lower numbers in cancer patients. And if it can do that in a cancer patient, I am certain it can have massive, beautiful, overflowing impacts for you and I. So let's go check it out. Welcome to our roundtable. Today we're diving into the world of sound healing. You'll meet Joan, who's stepping bravely into this experience for the very first time, and hear from Katie Jo on why sound healing is so powerful. So I'm interested because you are in this phase of life where you're having massive shifts, massive transformations, or transitions, I should say, massive transitions.
Right.
And so here you are going with your vast knowledge about sound, vast knowledge about music, why it matters. We don't have to convince you that it matters. We don't have to convince you that music really is healing and sound is healing.
Right.
But what I'm interested in is finding out the areas of your life that seem to be stuck.
Right.
Perhaps some of the things that you're like, wow, I continue to see myself spinning or doing this, and I'm interested in shifting and feeling more of this.
Well, my story's not that much different, I don't think, than a lot of people's. I got reintroduced to having to do the work like your guts out because of my first divorce. And from that point forward, I have not stopped out of that mode. And I stopped singing when I was first married, and I got divorced 15 years later, and then went into a new life and continued to work my guts out with the support of another person working their guts out. And it just sort of broke open finally, where that situation disassembled itself in a very heartbreaking way, not in a purposefully destructive way, but just a very heartbreaking way. And it was not just that in my personal life, but also it reflected in my private or in my professional life. And it's like nothing that I've ever done was working anymore in the way that it had been useful in the past. No matter how hard I worked, it didn't matter. It didn't change anything. And so I just was taught, the universe just sort of picked me up by the back of my belt and said, no, we're going to go over here now. And then learn this lesson, and then we're going to go over here now and learn this lesson. And so as those things have presented themselves to me, contemplating a radical change of career, contemplating not having the future I ever hoped to have with a partner, etc., I have had to, I think that has been purposeful in that I feel like God is saying to me, enough with what you thought it was all supposed to be about. Enough. You need to stop and start thinking about what's left and what are you going to do with what you've got left. And in order to honor that, you have to stop spinning.
I'm curious to just hear your journey to maybe different ways of coming back. And perhaps maybe sound is a part of this.
Sound is a part of it. And so first, I think that one of the things where sound has been woven through this since the beginning is since a child, I can see the way sound waves work. Now, I didn't know that was different than other people because how do you know if you're colorblind unless you're tested for being colorblind? So knowing that, so I didn't know that until I was much older. I could just simply see sound waves move. And honestly, it didn't even matter. I didn't even know that that was a thing until I began to use the drum. And I began to use the drum because as an artist, I was asked to, can you paint this? I have a drum. And I said, I've never seen a drum, used a drum, held a drum. I'm a businesswoman, was a businesswoman, mother, right? This is not my world. In fact, this is the weird world. These are the hippies. But I haven't, I'll take the commission, and I respect you enough to be reverent enough because I know that you think this is special. To pray over the drum before I painted it. So I prayed over the drum, and as I would paint the drum, I just would have these deep pulses of just awareness of, first of all, the life that was given by the animal. And I noticed that a deer drum felt very different than an elk, very different than a bear or a bull or a bison. And I could tell you what the drum is even if I didn't read the tag, because I began more and more paintings and I began to just go, oh, that is this. Oh, this is goat. Oh, this, because I could sense the energy of the animal still there with it. And for me, I had lost a son and I was in deep grief. And I noticed when I drummed and I sat by the river, the grief lifted. Wow. And it felt still.
I'm so excited. I saw this thing on the Instagram, and it is sound bath in a pool. Look at everybody's floating. I got to take a photo, Katie Jo. I got to take a photo. So how do I look? How do I look? Okay, all right. Do I have it properly placed? Absolutely.
Swim Academy pool. You guys, this space is incredible. Its cover will amplify the sound as we immerse ourselves in the water. And it's freaking hot outside, but we're in for a cool sound-filled treat. Though Katie Jo may have to brave the heat to guide us. So let's see how this works.
When you look at sound healing tools as we have here in the room versus musical, and musical are also, but they are outside the normal neural pathways, because now it's been 15 years of studying this, working at cancer retreats, them having results, working at hospitals and having people, so I've studied this in depth. I actually have over here a photo that shows cancer cells before and after exposed to the gong. I have my sound healing manual that shows what sound waves look like and how organic nature is shaped like sound waves. So there's so much science now. But one of the most important things, music is wonderful, but the brain creates neural pathways that are expected. So in the scale that we are in the Western world, which is a little different than globally, our brain knows to anticipate the next note. Because we're used to the scale, we've heard it our entire life. We're used to the eighth, the third, the double. We're used to those patterns too. Music has been proven and shown, and Harvard's done a study. There's so many studies that are showing how valuable music is, especially classical especially. But when we use tones that the body and the brain goes, this is new. I can't anticipate the answer to the question, if you will, then it causes neural pathways in the brain that are not connecting, that are just dormant. They're always there, but why would we work if we don't need to? Go, what the heck's going on?
We've just finished our sound healing session, and I'm excited to hear from Joan. Did it meet her hopes, and how does she feel? Plus, Katie Jo will share how Joan can carry this healing forward. So let's go find out.
So I would start by saying, I want you to know from a sincere place that we've been able to spend some time together today. It's an honor.
Oh, thank you.
I really mean it. You know,
It's always great to have time with people who are good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you never, ever, that's never a bad experience. I mean, that's never a waste of time. I guess that's what I should say.
Well, it's not that, but I would say, and this isn't really relative to the sound bath, my experience of you, just in the window that we've gotten to talk, is just so grateful. I think that you are so much deeper and wiser and sensitive than people around you know. And it's just, it feels like this well of just here. And I think that maybe it's not received. I don't know that you have that in your life, but I think that that's who you are for other people. That's what it feels like, just being around you.
To say. I don't know. That's a hard place for myself to go or be or stay for a long time, just because I mentioned before that I have ADHD, and it's not like my badge or anything, but it definitely is it helps me understand what goes on in my world. I guess that's the best way to say it. And so with respect to that experience and that whole dynamic, I don't always show, I can't always show how I really feel deeply inside of myself because of that constant going in my head stream of thought that just never stops.
Yes.
And so this experience is something that I feel like you should give it a go. Anytime that you're feeling like you need to have that quiet and that peace and just get out of your body and stuff like that, for me, I feel that in your studio would be a better experience for me because you were talking about this earlier, my ADHD brain just is always worried about, who am I bumping into and where am I floating off to and I'm just constantly distracted by all of the other things, even though it was quiet.
Even though there were moments.
Yeah.
Because if it's just moments, okay,
Well, it's hard for ADHD to meditate.
Oh,
It's
sure.
hard for ADHD to just stop and do nothing.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why scrolling is such a great dopamine boost, and that's why, food and some of those other things that are like active, but they're
Sure.
not active. Driving. I love driving.
Yeah, because you can do you like ironing?
I love ironing.
Yes, I know.
It's so perfectly perfect when you're
I
done.
know. You're just talking
Look, I
about
made that
it's like
perfect
there's a
thing.
problem. Oh, fixed it. Look at this. So yeah.
What I appreciated is the experience of hearing, well, I guess a better way to say it is experiencing all of the different sounds. As a musician, listening to the music, of course, is something that gives me all thousands of other things to think about and takes me places I haven't been for a long time, like when that song came out or who this person is or wow, that's cool about their voice. But the sounds themselves of the instruments you played, it was fun to feel all of the different dynamics. My favorite was the higher gong. I love the higher gong, and I love that drum. At one point, you felt like you're right over my back.
I was.
And that big wooden dome drum, is that what you were drumming on?
Calabash,
Yeah.
the African gourd.
Oh my gosh, that felt so good. Just it's a grounding, I guess. It's a safety, it's a comfort. And so this was a great experience in finding another way to allow myself to not do anything, and the only difference that would be more beneficial for me is an environment where I don't have to worry about who I might be disrupting or disturbing.
Yeah.
You know, if I bump into him or something. And that would be perfect in whether it was a pool or whether it was in a sound room or whatever you're talking about that you do in your studio. That would probably be the best, the premium.
So individuals have seen the power of sound, and especially through your eyes. You have so much research, you have so much depth. How can they learn more about sound? How can they learn how to utilize this particular modality in their own lives?
I would say if you're just starting out, I would encourage you to go to my website, which is katiejoempowers.com. And I have an online sound healing basics class. It's online. It's only about 40 minutes, so you'll understand how sound works, why it works, and the science behind it. So then you can start wherever you are with whatever you have. If you have no tools, or if you just have a radio, or if you just want to hum, you will walk away from that with this awareness of how sound works and how you can now begin implementing it in your life. A few times a year, I offer a certification program. This is multi-day, and I teach all of the instruments, the gongs, the tingshas, the singing bowls, the ancient bowls, tuning forks, all of the modalities.
Wow.
And then I also support you in understanding how to do group facilitation, one-on-one treatment, and how to start a safe and ethical business with doing sound healing, because there are laws and protocols and safety measures that everyone should be aware of. If you plan on facilitating groups, if you plan on doing one-on-one sessions, I believe it's vital that you understand how sound waves work, because there are sound waves that can affect a neurodivergent brain in a very non-great way. I don't want to say it another way.
Non-great way.
Yes, there are certain periods in a pregnancy that it wouldn't necessarily be safe for some sounds to be played for a pregnant woman. If somebody is prone to epilepsy or blood clots, these are also things that you would need to know how to work with sound to safely administer. So I encourage you to do whatever you feel inspired intuitively to buy for yourself, but if you plan on working with others or for others, I think that it's very important for your own safety and for their own that you are trained.
I think that's just such sound advice.
And I didn't think of this before this very moment, but what I would love to offer for your viewers is to use the phrase Wendy's Woo.
Wendy's Woo.
And they'll get a coupon for a discount if they wanted to do the certification training or if they wanted to do the basics online training.
How fun, what a treat. I just learned this right now.
I
Wendy's
just thought
Woo.
of it right now.
Was intuition, thank you very much. We will receive. Okay, well, wonderful. So you can check that out. Katie Jo Finai.
Yes.
You are amazing. We have really enjoyed our time, and now it's your turn to bring sound into your life. Thank you. In a world full of noise and chaos, Joan's struggle is so relatable. We all push ourselves to the limit sometimes, and finding stillness is key to reconnecting with our true selves. Sound can be a beautiful tool for just that. It's not about perfect scales. It's about letting sound calm our minds and embrace our true selves. So whether you find a local sound bath or learn from Katie Jo, know that this journey back to inner peace is possible for all of us.